Danny, Harrogate on a good run of form at the moment. Toughest test for you so far?
I think so. In terms of quality of team that we've played, I think, top of the form guide in the last 10. Lots to admire with regards to Harrogate Town and the job that Simon Weaver has done there. Firstly coming through the divisions and now establishing themselves as a League Two club and you know, competing right at the top end of this division. I think the fact that they've been able to sell players in the process, boys like Luke Armstrong, who's been a top forward in this division and a really good target man, and still get better is testament to, I think, the work and the coaching that they're doing now. I think actually they've changed the way that they've played since Luke Armstrong has left the club. They're now a team that are trying to play through the thirds, that are trying to dominate the ball and like to draw the press on and then play over and off the front of Jack Muldoon. I think have some really good players in the likes of Matt Daly, who's a boy that we work with at Huddersfield, probably one of the best 10, if not the best 10 in the division now. I think, Odu coming off the side with real ball carrying qualities, and then Thompson as well, who loves to come into the middle and link with Daly and overload you in those areas. So I think they ask you a lot of questions, and for us, I just see it as a great opportunity and a great test. I think it's a test that we're ready for. It's going to be really interesting to see how we perform against what I think is probably one of the best teams in the division.
Yeah, and speaking to you after last weekend's game, there seemed to be two things that you're frustrated with, disappointed with: the 2 goals we conceded and the performance in the first half, and then not really making the dominance count and going on to win score 3 or 4 goals and making it a relatively easy win. Do you still feel that that's a bit of lack of belief the players have got in themselves of how good they can be and wanting it to be 90 minutes rather than those spells?
Yeah, I think that good teams play for 90 minutes, absolutely. I think first half, we just didn't feel that we were as aggressive as we would have liked to have been against the ball. And I think both goals come from us probably falling off of challenges. First one in the lead up to the free kick. The second one, definitely just in the midfield area. I thought first half we just were trying to be too precise maybe, and just needed to play a little bit quicker than we did. Much better in the second half. I was really proud of the efforts of the players in the second half. I'm proud of the way that we committed to it. We were able to really dominate the ball. We looked a good team for a good half an hour period in that second half, and of course we had the opponent on the ropes. We hit Forest Green with 3 decisive punches, and then just letting them off. And some people will look at the third goal and see the individual mistake, but for us it was more the mentality in the 3 or 4 minutes in the lead up to that goal, because we had our opponent exactly where we wanted them, and we had to play with a belief of going to find the 4th goal and then the 5th goal, rather than trying to hang on to what we had. And this is just a mentality shift that I think we can keep trying to work towards. But no, I think there's a lot of positive signs. You look at the underlying stats. There's some statistics that we look at in our teams, and they're starting to move in a really positive direction. And this normally then leads to consistent performances and an opportunity to accumulate points.
Yeah, and 2 of our goals came from Ali Smith and Harry Anderson, 2 loanees. How have they settled into the squad now, and the rest of the loanees that came in January?
Yeah, I think the boys that joined us in January have settled in really well. I think it's an easy group to settle into, because I think we've got some really good professionals, some really good characters, and there is a togetherness and spirit here. And I felt that even though that the team was suffering, and I think that says a lot about the group. But certainly the boys that have come in have complemented and added to what we had in the squad. I think they've also fitted in really well with the boys that were already here, and we're pleased for Alistair and Harry obviously to score. I think we had a real dominant period just after half time that allowed us to have a really strong foundation in the game, and then we were able, when we were chasing sometimes, to bring on the extra forward, and John come on and really had an impact. And it also allowed us to play Alistair Smith a little bit higher, and that left hand side of Ellis and Harry and Alistair and John had a big part to play in all three of the goals. And yeah, I could really feel a connection within the team, but also between the team and the supporters. And when we found that third goal, you could really feel that connection, and it's something that we have to keep working towards and keep trying to build. And you know, we have to make sure that the next time we score 3 goals at home, it results in a win and 3 points.
Yeah, and you mentioned John Akinde there as someone that has come off the bench, but that must be one thing you've been really pleased about in all 4 games, the impact that they make. They might come to you on the Monday morning knocking on your door wanting to start games, but you must be really pleased with how they act on the Saturday when there's points at stake.
Absolutely. For us, they're our finishers. They play a really important part in the team's performance. And of course, they want to start. And the starters, maybe they play the longer part of the game, but actually the finishers come on, and maybe it's a shorter part of the game, but they come on at the most important part of the game. So they're, for us, equally important. John, I thought, made a real impact. I think we've been very, very lucky. You know, I can remember back to the Bradford City game, Connor Wilkinson coming on and making a real impact. Swindon game, young Bradley come on and scored. And for us, it's never an 11-man job. It's always an 18-man job. And I was pleased with their contribution. And we look forward now to a brilliant game against Harrogate, and a brilliant week actually. We play Harrogate, and then very quickly Grimsby Town at home, followed by Accrington Stanley at home, and an opportunity to accumulate 9 points. And you know, we're really respectful of our opponents, but absolutely our ambition is to try to take all 9.
Yeah, and in weeks like this coming up, I mean, how much is the focus on all 3 games? Do you have to look at it like that, or do you just have to get one out of the way and then very, very quickly look to Tuesday?
Well, I think for us to put all of our energy into the here and now and what we can affect, and that ultimately is to train and prepare really well for Harrogate Town. But also, you know, we spoke to the squad this morning, and certainly our training reflected it, that, you know, we don't anticipate playing just 11 players in these 3 games. This is going to be a whole squad effort, and we're going to need everybody's contribution, and everybody needs to make sure that they're ready. Because if we want to take all 9 points, then absolutely we have to be prepared and ready as a squad to be able to achieve 3 really consistent performances.
And maybe another selection headache for you with Cameron McGeehan back in the squad. Hopefully, has he recovered from that concussion?
Yes. So the good news is that Cam has passed the concussion protocol and is now back in training, and we're hopeful that he's going to be available at the weekend. I thought we really missed his aggression and his intensity, particularly against the ball, but also obviously the qualities that he brings in possession, that timing and arriving, and the goal threat that he carries.
And the fact that as a midfielder, you know, he came into the squad at a time when he was really, really lacking because he didn't get a pre-season. For him to get 6 or 7 goals in half a season for a central midfielder's probably decent at this level. Yeah,
I think it's a really good contribution to this point, and sometimes having to play in a deeper role in midfield as well. We see him as a player that can play in a slightly higher position, because he has this wonderful ability to affect the goal and carry real goal threat with both goal creation and goals himself. He has this skill of timing his movement and timing his run and arriving as the ball arrives. And he has a good number of goals already, and I absolutely believe that he can find double figures by the end of the season, which I think is a really good contribution from any midfield player.